And welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Brian Brooks, here with Commissioner Nick Moore, and we are here to talk about the new release of the Castaplast distance driver, the Malm. Nick.
Hold on, Brooks. I need to check my notes. I did not prepare for this. I thought we were talking about something else completely. So we might need to pause.
All right, well, we'll come back to that one, but we do have exciting. We do have a new product in store, Nick, and I think you are ready for this one.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it is. We've now finished the semifinals. We're preparing for the finals. I mentioned in the very first video this year that I had a 3-pack of mystery kits. As you can see, Brooks is joining me in solidarity right now with no kit. Unlike him, though, I'm not going to remain kitless because here it is, boys and girls, the final mystery kit. So,
As you're unboxing, what we had an Everton kit in the first video, if I'm not mistaken, and then what was the second one?
uh, it was a third division Turkish side.
Yeah, that's right.
It reminds me of Trabzon Zor, but obviously that's like the Division One, so it sounds similar to that. And somehow Bieber had like heard of the region, so
Cool.
whatever. So here we go. Ooh, okay, I already like it. It's FC Versailles,
Oh,
which I haven't looked at the jersey yet, but it is a semi-professional French club. They're in basically the National League, which is the third division in France. So obviously England has way more divisions, but Formula One driver Pierre Gasly is a co-owner of this club. So here we go. FC Versailles. Dude, that's pretty tits.
That's no sponsor. Good colors.
Yeah, no number, but let's get a close up of the kit here, the logo.
Very nice. And
I
just in case people aren't up to date with the French National League, that is the 14th place club. That's a good looking kit.
It is a good looking kit, and I gotta say, as soon as I heard it was French, I was like, man, I think it's gonna look good. I love these little mini pinstripes, so I'm pretty excited. This is let's see, we got 2 third division kits, but one of them was like maybe lower division than the others, obviously being out in Turkey. But
Well, Everton might as well be a third division based on how they play sometimes, but they are ahead of Man United and Tottenham as of recording. And not to feel left out, I've got my blue and gold here as well. I just had a feeling.
so there you go. If anybody needs any football manager saves, Everton, Versailles, or
Someone in Turkey.
someone in Turkey.
Sorry for all of our many Turkish fans out there. We'll do better.
Yes. But
Um,
anyway, on to business. The
on to
real
business.
business. Brooks, sadly, neither of us are precognitive. As I predicted in the last video, we would probably have, a split decision here. So the finals are set. The winners, Jimmy Wiesbrock took down Bogert 85-61. Which has to be said is maybe a little bit disappointing for both of them over the course of 2 legs. As a reminder, Jimmy put up 100 more points in the quarterfinals, and Bogert put up 80 some more points in the finals or in the quarterfinals. So Jimmy, he's in the finals, good for him, but
He's in the
maybe
finals.
not the strongest effort.
No, I think that game week all around was just kind of disappointing league wide. We're looking at 38 points, 40 points. I mean, not to get ahead of ourselves. Newland put up 67. I only put up 39. It was a low scoring affair all around. But but Bogert had a pretty big hole to dig himself out of after the first leg, and he couldn't overcome it. Lost both legs on aggregate.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously down in the other side of the bracket, Newland did edge you out 131-105. As you mentioned, it was pretty close. You had a 2-point lead
Mm-hmm.
going into the second leg and blew your triple captain in an effort to hold on. And yeah, I think Newland had the high score that week, so that's a tough one to swallow.
Yeah, I mean, I needed the bench boost week 1 to get by Aiden. I knew it was going to take something special to get past Newland. A 2-point lead, while nice, is not comfortable. So I thought the triple captain was the move. We prioritized this competition above all else, and it backfired. I think the thinking was right. Newland put up a 67, like you said, may have been the highest score in the league. I did not hold up my end of the bargain with the 39, like we mentioned with the triple captain. But I don't think my I think we had the right idea, but we just didn't execute, and sometimes that's how it goes.
Yeah. Well, the good news is you are still alive for a $50 prize out of the third place game where you and Bogart will face off in an effort to have a free season
Fingers
for
crossed.
whatever it's worth. I did want to just check in, while you're talking about how you're feeling about that third place match. I'm just looking at chips used. So I think I'm on your team right now. You've used your bench boost, you've used your free hit, you've used your triple captain. As you said, you put it all into the F65 cup, and I think that means you've still got a wild card.
I have a wild card and I have the assistant manager, which I don't know how to feel about that chip. But yeah, we still have the wild card. We're you know we're looking ahead at matchups and who might be playing for what. Um, Come down the home stretch here, so it's gonna be used. It's a matter of when, not if.
Yeah. On the other side of the touch line there for you is Bogart, and he used one wild card, his first half wild card in game week 6, but that's it. He's got a full array of chips ahead of him. I have to assume that he's going to use them unless he has checked out of the league. Which Bogart, if you're watching this, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Or he's saving them all for a run at the F65 or at the League Cup, right? So you never know. We'll see what happens, but he's got a lot of ammo to use, so I think I got to give the edge to Bogart for that, unless you think he's holding on to some dry powder for a bigger prize.
I'm inclined to think that he's just biding his time and he's gonna unleash it all here. But I think not that we played for anything this week, but we had some shakeup in the normal F65 standings. I had a pretty strong week where we looked our wounds, we responded well. I think we're looking toward the third place matchup with some motivation. So bring it on, Bogart. Bring it on.
Wow, harsher trash talk was never spoken. Um, Moving on to the main event. I mean, literally of the entire channel, really, the F65 league, right? There's the whole league. We've got the cup, and those are all great accomplishments should you choose to win them. But it's really all about this. So it's come down to two opponents. Our good buddy Jim Jam out in Colorado, who has used both wild cards and a triple captain. So, I mean, he's got a bench boost and free hit left in the tank. We'll see how he chooses to use those. I do know the first week here, game week 33 is the one coming up. There's some double game week players, so maybe he chooses to use a chip or two, I guess, over the course of the two-legged tie. And staring him down is no stranger to success here in this league, Mr. Sean Newland, also in Colorado. So hey, if you two are planning to get together and watch something, let us know. Send us some social media or a picture, because that'd be really cool. We'll even flash it up on a future video. He has basically not used his assistant coach or his bench boost. So he's got 2 chips left. We'll see how he chooses to use it.
So I know you've been on Newland from the beginning, but he's kind of felt like the top dog all season. Whereas I think picking Jimmy certainly felt like something out of left field. You sticking with your pick? Do you think Newland's going to bring it home, or I don't. Not that I'm not sure if Jimmy's a true Cinderella. He's got all the tools. He's a lifelong member of the F65 crew here. He knows what he's getting into. He doesn't have the history of success like Newland does. So is this a Real Madrid versus Dortmund type final, or or are we gonna see something different happen here?
I gotta say, it is easy to root against Newland given his success in his tenure here as an F65 member. But selfishly, I'm gonna be changing my pick to Jimmy because I recently found out about this. In international wrestling competitions, there's somehow there's a way you can only get alive for a third place bid if you lose to the person who wins. Right? So when Spencer Lee was wrestling to make the Olympic team, it was like if he loses, he's out. Unless the guy he loses to wins, and then he can somehow wrestle in. And Jimmy beat me. So now I'm thinking, okay, if Jimmy wins it all, I don't know what it says about me, but then I lost to the champ. Which there's no money for that, but whatever.
No, there's no money for that yet. Maybe there will be a fifth or a sixth competition come next year. Stay tuned to find out. But yeah, interesting. I still have to feel like Newland is the odds-on betting favorite. For those of us in undisclosed locations in the Midwest who might not have access to DraftKings, I don't know anything about those odds. But if I were to wager, which I can't legally, I would think Newland's the favorite here. But I'm going to stick with Jimmy as my pick as well. It's parity is always good for the growth of the game. If people are going to want to join, they just say, oh, I'm just going to send $50 and it's going to go to Newland every year. It's like, well, screw that. So Jimmy, let's keep the growth. Let's have a growth mindset. Let's get it done.
Sorry, my dog is trying to eat. Every one of these mystery kits comes with Swedish fish or something, and Pip is trying to eat it. So, no, so DraftKings, right? Obviously, not in Wisconsin, but I did try to feed them some line data. So they might have it out there. Check in your area. I don't know if they actually read my email or not, but I gave Newland a 4 to 5 or whatever that is, where he's the odds-on betting favorite.
Yeah.
So, but Jimmy, you're the YouTube show darling, so don't let us down.
Yeah, he didn't have the greatest week this past week. He's got maybe too many Crystal Palace players for my liking, but he's in the final and I'm not. So what do I know?
Looking at his team, he really went hard on Newcastle and Crystal Palace, who both had double game weeks. I think what that means is he is setting up to use a chip, right? Because neither of them have a double game week next week, I don't think. So I gotta say, he's already used his wild card, so maybe he's doing a free hit. I'm not sure, but that's what it feels like to me.
Yeah, and it is you're right. It is a 2-leg tie. I at least from my experience, I tend to use my chips in week 2 or the game week 2, trying to figure out what I need to get done. But we'll see. Newland's team hasn't seemed to change much. It's weird to see him going with an Everton goalkeeper. I will say that, but good for him.
Yep. Well, I think we've said all we can say. Now it's just it's got to happen on the pitch, So I don't know. Drop in the comments who you think who you're cheering for. Are you on Team Jimmy? Are you on Team Newland? Let us know. Are you on Team Meteor? That's a viable third option. So.
Good thing we have those tiebreakers in the event of a draw, so that Team Meteor cannot win.
Yeah. Well, before we sign off here, a couple of plugs. right? Starting in game week 35 is going to be the start of the F65 Cup, the League Cup that is part of the FPL software, hard coded. Not everybody will be playing in game week 35 because of the number of people in the league, but the quarterfinals are in game week 36. And obviously, the final week of the season will be the championship. We will have video coverage of that competition. Not sure what it's going to look like yet, but we will be there at least once with a check in. It might be at the end of everything when the dust settles. It might be beforehand, but at least one video. We'll keep you up to date. Lastly, if you've enjoyed the F65 inaugural season of the challenge, right? Obviously, the league's been around longer. Invite your friends. Get us up to 16 guys next year, 16 teams. Women are invited. I don't know why I said guides there. Ladies can soccer.
Ladies can soccer. That should be the tagline of our league.
Yeah. So that's all I've got. Brooks, you got any plugs other than whatever this disc is that you've been waiting to?
No, it's Castoplast came out with another disc, so I am one to spend my money when they tell me to buy. I buy. A little slightly overstable 10 speed.
I know our viewers love the good disc golf crossover in the Fantasy Soccer League, so keep it coming.
I will. Maybe I'll have another one for our next video. I'm taking a pilgrimage here to the fatherland coming up pretty shortly. Go do some scouting with Bayern out of the Champions League. I will no longer be going to the semifinal game, which is a bummer. But hopefully I'll be able to watch soccer at a reasonable time, not during my work day.
Yeah, I mean, down to the fatherland. Is that how do you say fatherland in German? Deutschland.
Vaterland.
Wow, that's a big leap.
Mm-hmm. All
Almost need
right.
an interpreter.
Yeah, we've taken up enough of your time. Signing off from an undisclosed location in Madison. I'm Brooks. That's Nick. We'll see you next time.
Newest Versailles fan. So go French.